Hey, thanks for joining me. Hope you're doing well. In 1885, William Warren, the first president of Boston University, published his work Paradise Found, the Cradle of the Human Race at the North Pole. In the book, he recites scientific explanations and ancient cosmology that all point to the same conclusion. Paradise is located at the North Pole. Warren points to the Garden of Eden at the North Pole, as well as Atlantis, Mount Meru, Avalon, and Hyperborea. Hyperborea, the ancient Greek paradise, broken down means beyond the aurora borealis. This emerald-colored light shoots out of the center of our plane, where there is a vortex leading into this long-lost paradise. In his book, Warren mentions the night skies of Eden, showing an early depiction of the aurora borealis. And over the years, many have suggested that Hyperborea was the original Garden of Eden. So Hyperborea, Eden, Avalon, Agartha, Shambhala, these are all different names that have been given over the years to the same paradise. Warren calls the North Pole the navel of the Earth, and like I've been saying, all compasses point north to this paradise, urging us to come pass into Earth's center, Earth's navel. He discusses the tree of life and its relation to this paradise. According to Genesis, at the center of the Garden of Eden stood a majestic tree. Its fruit was good for food. It was pleasant to the eyes, a tree to be desired. Similarly, many ancient cultures associated a tree of life, or world tree, with the center of the world, locating this tree at the true North Pole. The world tree is typically said to be a massive tree, extending high above the clouds with its roots deep in the underworld. We have Valagfa in Hungarian mythology, Yggdrasil in Norse mythology, the Ashvatha in Hindu mythology, the Qianmu in Chinese mythology, the Mayan world tree, and there's many more. Warren writes, "Where stood this tree was at once the source of all other trees, and the giver of immortality. Through the center vortex is paradise. It's the holy grail in which when we drink from, we achieve everlasting life. Like Warren says, immortality." The world tree was real. Its roots extended up from the underbelly of our flat Earth, and this organism spread out across our plane. This was an interconnected organism made up of giant trees. Most of what we call mountains and plateaus are the stumps of these trees. They, along with the tree of life, were cut down. And this truth is revealed to us in James Cameron's Avatar. The main tree of souls is said to be the closest connection to Awa. Awa in Avatar is the guiding force and deity of Pandora. The natives believe that Awa acts to keep the ecosystem of Pandora in perfect equilibrium, but the tree of souls which connects to this deity is cut down, just like our tree of life was. Awa refers to our connection with Mother Earth, Gaia, the divine feminine goddess. This is clear because Awa comes from the Celtic word Dewa, meaning goddess. Once the tree of life and the other interconnected trees were cut down, our connection to this goddess diminished, and the spiritual and physical equilibrium of this plane drastically shifted. Both sides of flat Earth used to be paradise, but by cutting down this tree, and therefore our ties with the Divine Mother, along with many other events that occurred around the same time period, this side of our flat Earth became a cradle for archonic and reptilian influence. This majestic organism isn't dead, however. It is still well and alive past the center vortex. Warren writes, "Every indication points us to the northern pole. It was in Arin Vej, the Persian Eden." He claims in Arin Vej there was said to be a sacred mountain. This is Mount Meru. Like I said, mountains are giant tree stumps, so Mount Meru, the magnetic mountain which is depicted all throughout ancient cosmology, is actually what's left of the Tree of Life. In this map made by the 14th century explorer Gerhard Mercator, there is an iron mountain at the middle called Mount Rups Nigra, at the North Pole, with 4 rivers extending outwards. The tides on flat Earth are not caused by the moon, but by these 4 rivers that diverge from Mount Meru. They breathe in and out, causing the tides. Eden was also said to have 4 rivers, and a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became 4 heads. Mercator described the island in a 1577 letter to John Dee. In the midst of the 4 countries is a whirlpool, in which there empty these 4 indrawing seas which divide the north. Right under the pole there lies a bare rock in the midst of the sea. Its circumference is almost 33 French miles, and it is all of magnetic stone. In his 1904 Manual of Tides, Dr. Roland A. Harris gathered evidence from tidal patterns and sightings by Europeans and Inuit that all pointed to undiscovered lands near the pole. To Harris, the tides suggested that there was a hidden mechanism at the North Pole that influenced the tides. This mechanism is the Four Rivers. So Warren talks about the Persian Chinvat Bridge being situated near Mount Meru by Aaron Vej, the Persian Eden. William Warren at the end of the book concludes long lost Eden is found, but its gates are barred against us. Now, as at the beginning of our exile, a sword turns every way to keep the way of the tree of life.